Just kind of a quick background on me. I run LinkedIn optimization services for people. That basically means I'm inside of a lot of different people's accounts and I see what works really well. I see what doesn't work really well. It's even more important. And that's what we're going to dive in today, a little bit of what not to do or what you may see yourself even doing, and then how to fix that as we kind of go through this. So here's the frame for everything we're about to cover. So LinkedIn legitimately is the most powerful business development tool on the planet. There are over 1 billion people that are in LinkedIn, which means all of your customers are there. That means that all you need to do is find your niche and talk to them in the right way because you have access to them every single day. The problem is almost everyone uses LinkedIn in the exact same way, and it's never going to work in that way. And we'll dive into some of those problems here in just a second. Today, I'm going to name the mistakes because I want you to recognize yourself in some of those, because most people really do see themselves in these problems. There are 5 key mistakes, and keep a mental count as we're going through this of they may sound like you. Most people will hit 2, 3, 4 of them, some even 5. And it's not a judgment on anybody. It's just where you stand today and how you can get to where you want to be over time. Mistake number 1, your profile is a resume that nobody asked for. Think of it this way. Most profiles read like a job title, a company name, bullet points about responsibilities, dates. It's essentially a digital resume. And that probably is how LinkedIn started. It's like, I'll do digital resumes and connect people. Maybe we'll help them out. A resume is built about and for you, but the person you're trying to reach doesn't really care about you yet. They care about what their problem is. The profiles that actually generate inbound are written for the person that they want to be selling to or want as their buyer. Every line answers one question. Why should I care about you? If someone lands on your profile and can't answer that in 5 to 10 seconds, they're gone and you'll never see them again. Mistake number 2, connection requests that telegraph the pitch. One thing that's really important, and maybe even early LinkedIn people didn't really realize this, but you need to be connecting with lots of people. You may not know them really well, but that's part of the network that can continue to expand. You're going to be asking people to connect with you, but the key is you need that connection request to sound like someone who is valuable to them, not someone who is going to sell to them. For instance, here's an example. Hi, so-and-so. I noticed we're both in this industry and I'd love to connect and explore potential synergies. The person who's reading that message knows exactly what's coming next. It's a pitch. The moment they sense a pitch, their walls go up and you probably have lost them. They won't come back down. So here's the big rule when it comes to connection requests. Every connection request has a single job, and that's to get accepted. That's it. There's no pitch in the connection request. There's not anything soft or subtle or even a hint of one, nothing, because you'll just lose them. They won't be connecting with you. And that's the number one and only thing that you want with a connection request. Mistake number 3, pitching before you've earned the conversation. This is a big sales thing. If you're trying to sell somebody something before they know who you are and what you're about, you've already lost. You'll see this a lot in LinkedIn. Someone will accept your connection request, or they'll accept a request. Maybe it's yours, maybe you've accepted theirs. And 24 hours later, they're sending you their services and saying, let's get on a call. They didn't do anything wrong technically. They were really just following up, but it wasn't in the right order. So really the wrong timing. Think about this, how trust really works. Let's say you're going to a conference. You're not going to run around and hand out business proposals. You're going to talk. You're going to find common ground. You're going to find a reason that both of you are worth each other's time. And LinkedIn works exactly the same way. The ask comes later. And when the relationship is warm enough, the ask doesn't feel like an ask. It feels like the obvious next step. Number 4. Content without a strategy underneath it. This is a really big problem because a lot of people will go out there and just spray the world with a whole bunch of content and think that they're just going to get customers. And when it's not working, what they do is they spray more content and think more people will just find them. And here's the honest truth. Content without outbound, like an outbound strategy, is really just hope. You're posting and hoping the right person sees the right thing at the right moment. The content really isn't the engine. The content is the credibility. When you reach out to someone and they're going to come out and hopefully check your profile, what they find either helps or hurts you. That's what the content is for. You have to be reaching out and pulling them in And when they see your content, that's when you become the thought leader that they actually care about. Number 5, no system, just showing up when you feel like it. Consistency is a really, really big thing here. I've gone into people's accounts and they've had 3, 4, 500 messages that haven't been read. In those cases, large handfuls were buying signals and they just weren't in it often enough and the things just got buried. This ties everything together. Most people's LinkedIn strategies, it's more like when they feel like going and doing it. I'll reach out when I have time. I'll post when I have something to say. I'll follow up when I remember. You know what that generates is nothing consistent, which means nothing predictable, which means no pipeline whatsoever. So the people closing deals on LinkedIn are not more talented than anyone else. They're not really posting more often than people. They just have a system that runs whether they feel like it or not. Their profile's optimized. They have a defined audience. They have sequences running. They have conversations that are consistently happening because they're talking to people and getting to know them. And it's not because they remember to reach out, it's because the system does it for them. And that really is the difference. It's this consistency. If you thought through all those, you don't need to tell me how many, felt familiar, but at the end of the day, we've all done these. I mean, when we all started using LinkedIn, we were all doing different things that were right and wrong. We've all probably tried all of these, but the reality is now you know where those problems are and we can fix them. Let's dive into some of the other side. It's the fixes. So for every problem, there is a correct way of going through and doing this. Fix number 1, a profile that works while you sleep. When we fix a profile, we're not making it fancier, we're just making it more useful. There's a really good headline. It's not like a resume telling you someone's just all of your title. It's telling them who you are and why you're actually even valuable to them. When the profile is right, something totally changes. People start reaching back to you. They check your profile and actually reach out. And instead of confirming their suspicion that you're just another vendor, the profile actually pulls them in and starts building a relationship with them. The reality with a profile, it's either working for you or against you. There's no in between. You're either getting people to trust you because of your profile, or you've already lost them because there is no trust in there because you're really just showing them a digital resume. Outreach that doesn't feel like outreach. You got to remember the rule. The connection request has one job. It's just to get accepted. What things actually get accepted? You got to do something specific, something that shows you actually looked at them, a genuine shared context, and a reason that has nothing to do with selling. After they connect, the first message gives them something like a resource or something of value that's relevant to them. It's not any kind of a sales attachment or some sort of workaround. It's really just value going into your potential customer. Something like this will feel slow, but the reality is it's more efficient, so it's not slow. It's actually more effective. It's the difference between conversations that really go somewhere or a pitch that just goes into cyberspace. Fix number 3. A sequence, not a single swing. A message is really not a strategy. And if you get a customer off a single message, you probably should go play the lottery. It's unlikely. The people that are generating real pipeline are working through a sequence. And this is pretty much what it looks like. First, you have a profile visit. It's a soft signal that says you exist. Second, there's a connection request. Simple, 0 requests or sales language. It's very specific. Third, a value drop, a resource or something that is actually useful that they will go, I understand why I should be working with you. A question, not a pitch. One easy question that opens the conversation. And then if there's no response, a respectful close, no guilt, no just checking in, clean human exit. If you just keep messaging them, they'll just get annoyed after time. So either they're going to be someone who wants to talk to you or they're not. These 5 touches will happen over a few weeks. Every single one is either asking for something small, but none of them are actually out there selling anything. And when someone responds, because I promise you they will, you already are on 3 steps down into that relationship and you can have a real conversation that is diving into more and more value and they keep trusting you. Fix number 4, warming the conversation before you ask anything. When someone responds, the worst thing you can do is immediately ask for 30 minutes. And I promise you, I get this every single day. If I connect with anybody who's reached out to me, I'm getting sold to the first message. Instead, respond with what they said. Ask a follow-up question, find common ground, give them one more piece of value before you ask for anything. The goal is to get to a point where you can ask for that call and it feels like a natural step, not an interruption. But what people end up doing is they jump to it so quickly, it's already thrown up that wall and it doesn't work. People don't want to work with you when that ends up happening. So it's got to be a slow relationship build. Number 5, a system that doesn't need your mood or a mood to function. So what that really means is it's always working. Everything I just described only works if it's running all the time. I mean, that doesn't mean 24/7, but you can't pick the days that you want to work on it. If you just choose to go in when you remember that LinkedIn's there or you're in the mood to go out and respond to messages, you're going to fail. This is something that happens all the time. It's a system that means new connections going out every single week, sequences progressing automatically, conversations that are getting tracked. You're not thinking about it every day, but you're showing up to the conversation when they happen. I'll go into I haven't been in my profile yet today. I'll probably have 30 messages and they will all be conversations that are building. If you just leave that one message for a week or two, that person's forgotten about you and probably won't respond. And that's the whole game. It's showing up, continuing. It's the consistency to make it happen. And if you're not consistent, it won't happen. The customer's already moved on to someone else that can potentially help them. Here's the 5 touches. We just talked about them. So a profile visit, connection request, value drop, curiosity question, and then if it's not there, turning into an actual repeatable conversation, then it's a respectful close and move on to the next one. The gap between knowing this and doing this usually is some of the biggest problem. Anybody can do this. This is not rocket science. You can go out and do this all day if you want to do it. The problem is most people don't have time to do that. They're out building their business, they're doing things, and then they get back to it. And before they know it, 2 weeks have gone and they got 100 messages in there that they didn't respond to and they've already lost business. That's the problem. It's this sequence that's not continually going. And I don't want you guys to take this as any kind of a pitch, but what I'm building right now is a group of people that can come together and ask questions and get responses around their sales on LinkedIn, online, and in weekly phone calls where we can do some trainings. And you continue to learn more and more about how everything works appropriately. I do this on behalf of people, but I'm also teaching you guys how to do it right so that you can be successful. And that's really the key here. We've built this lab, and that's what the lab is. It's coming through, understanding what your problems are, sharing your questions or your sequences that you're seeing, if they're working or why they may not be working, how to get those things working right, and then being consistent so you can always be going in and refining your messaging. What I've built right now, I'm charging $100 a month for everyone to get in here and do this, and you can have access to me every single day if you have questions, and I can kind of work you through this. It's not something really complicated, but you will have access to the meetings once a week, basically these trainings. You'll have access into those, and you will get into this community where you can continue to ask questions and everyone can respond to them too and see what they've actually happened. I'll drop this link into the chat too. If this is interesting for you guys to be part of this in the future, I'll put it in the chat so that you can grab onto it.
I'm doing a lot of the stuff that you already said you were doing, and it works.
Yeah.
I mean, I get people reaching out to me on LinkedIn because of the way I set up my profile, because of what I said and the first thing that they read. And so it does make a difference if you do it the right way.
How often are you posting, Rob?
About once a week.
There are some people out there that feel that it's once a day and is up to as many as 3 times a day. And I'll tell you one thing that you can also be thinking about too is going out and finding articles that connect with you where your ICP may be hanging out, and you can comment on those so people see you and it builds up your industry knowledge so people can trust you.
Where do you get ideas for content? Like I typically post once or twice a week, but now I'm looking to post like 5 times a week.
So I've actually built out a prompt sequence that goes in and looks at Reddit, understands what's the most most interesting content of the day within your world. And then that'll give you ideas. And then I have other prompts that go through and then build out the content. But generally, to get your ideas, most of the best ideas right now are on Reddit, and you don't have to read it anymore. You can use ChatGPT to go out there and
That's really smart. So Reddit has like the best, what do you call interaction? What do they call that? It's like
engagement.
engagement. Yeah, it seems like they're the most engaged platform.
Try this, Omar. I can give you my prompt. If you ask ChatGPT to go in and look at LinkedIn and look at TikTok and Instagram and all of these places where people are talking, you will get ideas that are really strong.
I'll do that.
I'll just have like some experience that I'm thinking about, and then it just launches into like a 4-part series of some
Yeah.
sort. Yeah, really thinking about it. I pulled from my own experience.
That's where it's valuable. You don't want to just throw stuff out there that doesn't make sense or connect to you. The difference between AI content and AI content that is valuable is typically you've added in you. And you've added in what you've been through in your own case studies. That's where it becomes really valuable. There's one thing that actually happens a lot in social media content, just generally. If you're not consistent, the algorithm doesn't care about you. So if you're posting once a month or maybe having a couple comments here and there, or you're just not posting, the algorithm will not push you. The more you can get out there, but it's not overdoing it, it's once to maybe 3 times a day, the more the algorithm cares because you're feeding it quality content that fits in and makes it so people stay on their platform. The way I usually like to do it, like a newsletter once a week, post once a day, and then I comment on things that connect with that type of account or me in general.
Well, and I've heard, and again, this might have changed because it's been a while, but that you can overpost.
Yes, you can.
And that it's just that's why I kind of held off on once a day. I can see it though if you're posting not about what you're saying, but here's an article, so yeah, I get that where it's not specifically pointing back to you, but it's just you showing your expertise in the industry.
Just like if you're DMing somebody and trying to sell too much, if you're just putting stuff out there that's just selling, people will turn off really fast.
Yeah.
So think of it more along the lines of how can I speak about my expertise to where people will trust me and then want to talk to me? And then once you get those conversations, it's where you can build up to credibility or the license to sell, we'll call it. Well, I'd love to have you guys in the group. I see so many people doing this wrong that I believe if you do it right, you will have conversations, you will have quality engagements, and you will have opportunities. I will give you one example before we kind of close this off. I've been doing this for one of my partners who is a fractional CFO. He has a newsletter. He posts often enough. We have engagement going out on his behalf through DMs and connecting with the right type of people that are scrubbed lists. And he picks up a new client probably every other month. What I can promise you is if you do it right and you're consistent, you will be successful. If you aren't consistent, I will promise you, you won't be successful.